Welcome to the morning after CFFL edition, week number 2. This is the week we come to after the crazy injury week in the NFL. An all-star team got hurt this week. I think I saw on ESPN say that like a top 10 player at each position. Actually, you could fill out a fantasy roster with top 10 players from last year who got hurt this week. So it was a rough week for a lot of teams. We'll get right away into the action and check it out. First of all, in week 2, we had the upset of the week. Team LBM beat In Rodgers We Trust 78.5 to 56. Rodgers was favored by 7.5 points. Jimmy Graham, Brandon Marshall combined for 38.5, and DeMarco Murray, who's been an awesome first-round pick for Reback, had 15 points. So far, he's been probably the best player in fantasy. We'll see if that can continue. Maybe they're actually going to keep feeding him the ball this year. Also in week 2, we saw the Black Dingoes take down the Bone Storm 82.5 to 54. The Black Dingoes have started the year on fire. They're going 2-0. Aaron Rodgers at 21.5. Des Bryant had 12 for the Bone Storm. Also this week, we saw the Gargoyles thump the Cardinals 66.5 to 40.5. Alfred Morris had 16. Randall Cobb also had a good day for the Gargoyles as they moved to 1-1, and they dropped the Cardinals to 1-1 as Julio Jones had 10 points. Also, the bad news for the Cardinals was Jamal Charles got hurt. One of the injuries this week. Another injury was AJ Green for In Rodgers We Trust. I forgot to mention that earlier. Week 2 also saw the Horn Dogs take down the Bruisers 63 to 50.5. Horn Dogs moved to 2-0. Bruisers fall to 0-2 and have now lost 6 in a row dating back to last year. Goskowski had 14 for the Horn Dogs. Jordy Nelson and the New England defense combined for 32 of the Bruisers' 50.5 points. But not enough as the rest of the team struggled for the Bruisers. Horn Dogs lost Ryan Matthews and Noshawn Moreno for anywhere to 4 to 8 weeks total for them each. So a little bit of a mountain they'll have to climb as well as the Cardinals, who also, by the way, lost Mark Ingram. So the Cardinals having tough luck as well with 2 running backs going down. Donkeys just came up short. The records are wrong there. The Kongs moved to 1-1. Donkeys fall to 1-1. 50.5 to 49.5. Reggie Wayne only had 1 point last night for the Donkeys as it wasn't enough to take down the Kongs. Kongs, Dan Bailey and Peyton Manning combined for 35.5 of their 50.5. Gio Bernard had a big day for Dan Tomaszewski with 14 points. He's starting to look like a borderline running back 1. And finally, this week we had the Badgers with another huge week. They're looking like the team to beat right now. 87.5 points to the Garbage Men's 47. The Garbage Men fall to 0-2. Andrew Luck had an okay day. Again, rough day for me today. I've screwed up the stats there. He had an okay day. Zerline and the Bills' defense had 26 points combined for the Badgers. Andrew Luck, not a bad day for the Garbage Men, but not enough to overcome the rest of the team's struggles. And actually, I'm going to let you know right now how many he did have. Luck had a grand total of 16 points, which is a pretty good day, but the rest of the team did struggle with that as they look to bounce back next week. So yeah, it's been a rough week for a lot of teams. Most guys, it wasn't year-ending injuries, but not good nonetheless. Some positive news in the CFFL. Let's take a look at the player of the week this week. Antonio Gates, who wasn't started this week, but did have 96 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, 22.5 points, was the player of the week. Another guy that was considered, Aaron Rodgers at 21.5 in a starting role for Black Dingoes. And Darren Sproles last night had a really good game, but not enough to take down Antonio Gates. And on to Griff's gripes. As for the gripe this week, is this the CFFL? Whoa. Is this the CFFL or the Thug League? Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, who's next? Tim Tebow? Now that he's on Good Morning America, he'll probably have a little more of a regimented schedule, so probably not there. It's not just enough to research a player's injury history before our drafts, enough to analyze their moral character. And good luck to Roger Goodell. You wanted to be the judge, jury, and executioner. Be careful what you wish for. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous right now in the NFL. All the injuries, they update the suspended players during the starting lineups. Kind of crazy. in a week that was in the CFFL and the NFL in general. So yeah, not real good. Walk of shame this week. We'll take a look off of Griff's gripes. This one plays right into it. Had to go to Adrian Peterson. Was an easy choice there. It looks like he will play this week unless the NFL does come down on him, which is a possibility. Happier times there for Adrian Peterson. Unfortunately, his son fumbled there, so that may have led to his, disciplining him, I guess, down the road. Another walk of shame is an honorable mention, which I will talk about coming up right now. Free agent target of the week is Niall Davis, 79 yards rushing, 26 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. Breaking news also, the Cardinals do ask for a redo on their Sunday waiver claim. Had he not gotten hurt, it might not look so stupid that I did not sign Niall Davis and sign McKinnon instead. But yeah, that happened. Was planning on signing him. Thought better of it because, Peterson, Asiata is not a real good back. Thought they'll eventually go to him. And kind of forgot about Niall Davis. So that was a really big mistake because Charles is probably going to miss a couple weeks. But you never know. Maybe he'll be back this week. ESPN's projecting him to play and score a touchdown, of course. But we'll have to see about that. On to next week. Big games on tap. We have the Black Dingles taking on In Rogers We Trust. 2-0 versus 1-1 for the division lead there. The Badgers take on the Donkeys as well. Badgers 2-0 and the Donkeys 1-1. Both teams looking very strong this year. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Also next week, a sideline reporter will be back with breaking story. Some charges possibly being leveled against one of the CFFL owners. It could be really serious. There might be a suspension coming down the road. We'll have to take a look next week. So tune in next week. Sideline report. Breaking news that may have one of the CFFL members suspended. Don't know what the commissioner is going to do. See how it's going to play out. We'll have to check it out next week. Good luck to everybody this week. Hopefully your team doesn't get hurt this week, like some of ours did. Talk to you next week. Bye.